Hello everyone and welcome to the Open Talks episode number 10. In this episode, we have lots of interesting things to talk about. Yeah, lots of things happened this week. Sennheiser sold their own audio division, consumer audio division. So that is Sennheiser is a very old company. That happening this is very much strange for us. Second thing is our own good old Arch Linux is getting some fame with KD Plasma on Steam deck gaming. So yeah, let's see how well that holds and what are their plans. Third is rights to repair is absolutely getting in lights. So if you all know, we were the first to let you know what it is, what is the rights to repairs and what all the things. Then these laws and those things happen. So let's visit that topic again, what's happening as of now. And fourth is Android 12 beta 3 is out. So what Google showed in their Google I/O is actually now coming to the lights. So that is pretty good. UI and all those things are pretty good. So yeah, let's also talk about good things, what Android does. So yeah, let's roll the intro. Perfect. Okay, so the first topic is Sennheiser sold their audio division. So see, Sennheiser, right? This thing literally. Just a moment.
I am really proud about Sennheiser, right? Normally.
Yes, Sennheiser. I have tried almost every earphone in budget range. I'm not talking about the high end because I don't have that much money as of now. But in the budget range, I have tried every earphones and nothing can compare to this Sennheiser. Starting from their CX180, I started from there, and this is CX50S as of now. They sound pretty good. You all know, right, that sparkle in their earphones. Sparkle in the sense they have slightly elevated trebles.
Yep.
So those sound pretty amazing. Sennheiser can never go wrong with audios. You just have to boost a little bit bass if you are a bass heavy person, and these drivers are amazing. They will handle that bass pretty easily. So Sennheiser, the point here is Sennheiser is pretty old company considering the audio industry. It has amazing R&D facilities and everything, and that's the reason they are able to develop this good earphones. But now what is happening is they are literally selling their consumer audio department, just consumer audio department, not the professional audio department. So now it's Sennheiser is splitted into two parts. One is consumer audio and one is professional audio. Professional audio is still under Sennheiser, but consumer audio is under another company. Let's see what's the name. So let's scroll down a little bit. So yeah, Sennheiser is based from Germany, and they are selling their consumer audio department to Sonova Holding AG, that is based in Switzerland.
Okay.
So that company is building those equipments for disabled people who cannot hear, right? So yeah, that's a good thing, those implants and those things. So yeah, Sennheiser will ramp up the show in that department now because their R&D is pretty good. But Avram, what is my concern is what will happen. The thing is that Sennheiser won't stop selling their consumer grade products. They will continue. But the thing is that it won't be as good as they are. as of now.
Actually,
This is my
we
assumption.
won't know it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
will they keep the head engineers, right? I mean, who were the best at
Yeah.
making the headphones, right? I mean, currently they should have already they have the best sound labs. That is what I heard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
from Samsung, right? I mean, Samsung has a sound lab which is really good as Sennheiser's, but Samsung is a really big company, right? When compared to Sennheiser.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Sennheiser having one of the best sound labs, that really means that they are serious about what they do, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Right.
I have used Sennheiser like over the past, and they are the only headphones which actually comes to really close to audiophile grade when it is low end, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
all those, like, I have tried, I guess, even JBL, right? JBL. Then I have tried the Boat, right? Boat is really popular in India, and
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
also tried, I guess, what is the other one? House of Marley, right? House of Marley.
Hazuma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
House of Marley sounds really good, right? I mean, that is a little bit
Yeah.
towards the mid end, right? Not even low end.
Right.
And like, personally trying on these old earphones, I have personally, like, put Sennheiser in a special place, right? That is flat sounding earphones, not perfectly
Absolutely.
flat, because perfectly flat things takes a lot of tweaking, right? I mean, you have to make the driver
Sure.
perfectly flat, then it takes a lot of time to
Right.
tweak, right? So
Sennheiser like deliberately makes their high trebles little bit elevated,
right.
like deliberately.
I mean,
Yeah.
in
So
theory,
that is
right? The Sennheiser low-end earphones, like, most probably,
yeah.
people who are not listening to music are the ones to basically buy this. Like, people who are businessmen, like, people who are normally just using an earphone,
Yeah.
just to use an earphone, right? And for them, for
Correct.
clear audio, that is clear voice, I guess treble is the
Yeah.
one to be increased, right? I mean, in case of when the
Right.
voice becomes too
Right.
much bassy, right? It sounds like it is
Yeah.
coming from a big room or something, right? So I guess, I mean, it makes sense, right? But most of the
Yeah.
earphones we know at the low end are basically like bass heavy, uh, like Boat, right? I mean, it is literally bass heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I think treble
Yeah.
is like nearly like 10% in that.
This is yeah. I mean, this is what I understand, right? I have used both for 1 year,
Yeah.
and like see. So this is what I understand. Like there are three level of consumers in the audio industry as of now. One is like pretty pretty beginner who don't understand what the sound is. They can like accept any earphones and like just live with it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you give the high-end earphones to them, they won't even notice the difference. So for them, both will work for sure. Like they will like bass will be there, right? So I mean, they will enjoy those bassy songs and those things. So boat is for those people.
Absolutely.
Sennheiser consumer grade products like CX180S and this CX50S, they are for middle layer who does understand what the audio is, like who are kind of audiophile but not pretty much audiophile. So like I most probably lie in that middle to little bit higher layer, because if I am given a good earphone, I can like clearly see what's the difference. And then comes like absolutely audiophile people, like maybe you are, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like
you can
currently I'm
absolutely
having
hear.
like AKG, right? And this is an audiophile headphone,
Yeah,
but
that is like as per your review, that's having a pretty flat
yeah,
sound.
absolutely
So that
pretty
is,
flat.
I mean, that's what audiophile need.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it
So
doesn't really crack at any, you can say, any frequency, right? It just
yeah,
is
that
perfect,
is
right?
amazing. That is
And
pretty.
I think with
Yeah.
Sennheiser I could have got a little bit much more cheaper, right? And I just went with AKG because it is Samsung, right? I mean, I just trust
Okay.
the brand a little
Yeah.
bit more, in the sense like to do everything overall properly, right? I mean,
Right.
if Samsung
Right.
makes an SSD, it is the best, right? Normally.
It's the best. It's the absolutely best.
And whenever it makes a phone also, it normally is the better, right? I mean, it's not like the worst, or
Yeah.
it is not like the middle end. It lasts long, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought like the AKG means like Samsung, so just a little bit durable. But one thing I can say for
Yeah.
sure is that Sennheiser do sell their earpads, right? Like, that is a
Okay.
big thing actually. After buying these earphones, I just realized the earpads are getting worse and worse by the day, and
Oh.
there is no
Oh man.
way
They
for
don't
me to
sell?
replace it because they don't sell it. Right?
What the hell? Why?
Yeah, this is
Why AKG?
this is exactly why I think people should go if they want a good earphones and good headphones. Just go with Sennheiser, right? I mean, AKG is not yet worth it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the sound quality and
Yeah.
everything is in par with Sennheiser. Both are,
Right.
and even Sennheiser is cheaper, like when we compare, right?
Sennheiser is
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Sennheiser has their square kind of layout, right? Normally with the
Yep.
high-end earphones.
One.
And they
Yeah.
have the
One more
best
thing, Arun.
noise cancelling earphones also, right?
Yeah. Right.
spe-
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, speaking of noise cancellation, like the dog is barking, right? One day,
Oh,
I would
man.
like make a speaker, right? Like, and basically place it in front of dog, and maybe like make an amplifier, right? Normal amplifier, like last year
Yeah.
amplifier. Then take a preamp, right? But only thing is, in the preamp, I will like put the op amp in the inverting configuration, right? So that it just produces the opposite wave, right?
Oh man.
And now I will like put the mic near to the dog, right? So now the audio loops back, but whatever the dog speaks,
Loop.
it is like the opposite. So it just cancels out, right? So
Right.
dog will be like I'm barking. It can hear its own voice, because it's all conducted through the skull, right? To
Yeah.
the ear, and we will be like having peace. Can record the open talks,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
That oh man, like
Maybe Sennheiser should
just
patent
for
this
the
and make one, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Just for the context of audience, like this dog is barking from 3 hours. Like we are both setting up this episode, like the
Absolutely.
backgrounds, and this dog is barking literally from 3 hours. So like there you go. And like coming back to the topic, Abram, like there is one more major player, like Sony, right?
Absolutely.
Sony makes amazing earphones, like amazing sounding earphones. I'm not saying like they are flat or they are like good for audio.
They are tweaked, like
But
tweaked
for
to be better for all the audiences.
yeah,
They have good,
Yeah.
you can say
This-
like response curve. Yeah.
absolutely. The songs will sound really good in Sony.
It is a
like,
little bit bassy,
even
right?
the-
It is a little bit brazy, and the
It is
mids
bassy,
are a little
it is
bit
bassy, yeah.
low, right? I mean, mids are a little
Yeah.
bit low, and
Yeah.
it is also good at trebles.
Right.
And I actually
Right.
used to own a headphone, right? Sony headphone, so I do know.
Okay.
It is really good.
Right, right. Boat is like boat makes the bass overpowering, and then the whole driver kind of muffles.
Absolutely.
Sony is like pretty good at handling bass. Like it is just that sweet spot. Like it is not overpowering. It is not very much less. It is that sweet spot. Like you don't need any equalizer with Sony's. Like you need equalizers with Sennheiser and AKG maybe, but you don't need.
I
with
mean,
Sony.
thinking
So
about
that is
Sony,
pretty-
right? You have to talk about Walkman. Those.
Oh
like,
man.
It came with a good equalizer, right? Like if you think
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And even if you plugged in
Yeah.
anything, with your shit, like even headphones with your shit, it made it look good, better. Like it was
Amazing.
better.
amazing.
Absolutely. But I kind of think it all died, right? I mean, when Sony went
It absolutely
went
does.
sideways.
Yeah.
But I think it was the best thing. Like their app and everything
Yeah.
looks really good, right? I mean,
Yep. Yep.
with everything, like even tactile buttons, right? The play, pause, everything,
Right.
like vibrated the phone, and like it.
That was futurist. Like that was ahead of its time. at
Yes,
that time.
yes. I think Sony, right? I mean, Sony is one of the underappreciated brands, like LG in mobile
Just like
space,
LG,
right?
yeah.
And now LG is
Yes.
dead. I hope Sony won't be dead, right? Only problem is that
Sony,
Sony is a
yeah.
little bit lagging always, right? I mean, they should create the phones
Yeah.
latest, right?
Correct.
For their defense, right? They tweak their cameras too much, right? I mean, what happens is that they just say like, okay, we want this sensor in the phone, right? And they just work on the sensor, and while working on the sensor, they just fix SoC, right? And
Yeah.
that these SoCs are not intercompatible. That means like if you change the camera from one to another, right?
Right.
You can't basically take any SoC and pair it, right? I mean, one camera will pair with a particular limited amount of SoC, right? I mean, it has to have the particular bus, right, to interact with the camera. You should have the capacity. That is, if the SoC
Correct.
manufacturer says 32 megapixel is the maximum it can support, and at this particular frame rate, it can't put any camera which has higher, right, than that. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean, that is a major thing why
Right.
Sony lags. But the thing is, they are Sony, right? I mean, they are the best camera manufacturers at this point, right? And I mean, mobile camera at least,
Right.
they are the best. In the normal camera space,
absolutely.
they are like among the best, right? There are better camera solutions from also Canon and those kind of companies,
Right.
and also we are talking like Red and those kind of companies are there which are like next level,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Red is like
then Fujitsu, and there is like you can say ARRI, right? Film grade cameras, those kind of things. We are not even talking about
Yeah.
that. Like in the phone cameras, everywhere we see Sony, right? And we can say even like they are the best
right.
in the market. And if they are the best, they have the technology to mold the camera to any SoC they want, right? I mean, in theory, they make the interface, they make the standards, right? I mean, but
Yeah.
currently they are not doing it. They are not trying. That is what I'm saying. Like they are not even bothered.
Yeah. That's what I also understand.
Like LG, right? LG also doesn't try to
Absolutely.
come up with a phone which is good for every audience, right? They just want to be like extremist,
Exactly.
right?
I mean, yeah, it should be like Samsung, right? Samsung is also developing phones for normal consumer, and Samsung is also doing folding phones. So I mean, that is the way to survive.
Yeah,
the
like I
market,
guess
right?
even Apple is doing it. That is the funniest thing, right? They have those small phones, right? What do you call it? SEs or those kind of things, right? XS and XR.
SE, yeah,
XR.
SE.
XR is also small, I guess, right? I mean,
XR is also
there's
XR is also
a lot of range right now from Apple, like, and even from like Samsung is like, I guess the range is like too much, right? I mean, little bit too much, right? When you think about it, there is like literally I guess 10 phones at least competing with each other from Samsung, right? I mean,
yeah,
in that
just from
particular
them, yeah.
price margin, like that is the problem, right? But Apple, there is one phone, right? I mean, there is one phone, and that is only
Right.
what we need. But in case of LG, there was nothing, right? There was no competition.
Exactly. They were just making the flagship.
They just make the flagship.
That
They
was
just
the
make the dual screens. I mean, who needs a dual screen? I mean, there are
Yeah.
people like for example, me who will like a dual screen, but normal consumers, they just want one screen and the better screen, right? I mean, that is all they want. And for dual screens and those kind of things, I mean, in laptops it is much more practical than in phones, right? Even
Exactly.
folding phones,
Exactly.
right? Nowadays, like no one is really buying it because it is too expensive to fold a screen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, considering the value it brings to your productivity and price, it's like just buy a laptop,
Absolutely. Have you like seen that Samsung is now unveiling, I guess, 2 more folding phones, right? Like,
Oh, okay.
they are
I
doing
didn't
it,
know
right?
that.
I mean, they are going to, right?
Oh,
The
okay.
leaks are already in, I guess. So yeah, if you want, you can check it out. I mean, most probably
Right.
touching it will bring it out, right? I mean, so 2 more folding phones. There you go.
Perfect. Let's see. Right. Let's see with the audience.
Absolutely. You
Right?
can search it.
So, Samsung 2
Folding phones.
new
And this is a leak,
folding
right? So leak.
phones. It's a leak.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's remove 2, right? Because it is confusing Google, I guess.
Yeah, leak.
Yeah, just leave. There you go. Most probably this one.
Okay. Did you check the date? I'm just going to the site.
It is June 28.
June 28. So this day.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, that is absolutely near, right? I mean, I think that is it.
right, that is near. That is near.
That is it.
It looks something like this.
Yeah, so there you go. It is they
Yeah,
are going to unveil. I think they haven't yet, right? I mean, if they
yeah, yeah,
have, then
yeah.
I am pretty much out of date, right?
I guess no. I guess no. Otherwise, everyone should be talking about it. Like
Absolutely,
MKB, Liu later, those people, like they should be
absolutely.
talking about it. So
So
yeah,
yeah, they have the
there you
pen.
go.
Okay, I have noticed that. Okay, they have pen. So there you go. Like
Yeah,
Note series
yeah,
still
yeah.
lives inside a
Like
series.
if you're paying the highest amount for Samsung,
There is Z series.
any
What
older
the hell?
Samsung
Z
phone,
Fold. Okay, there you go.
yep,
Z, right? I
yep,
mean,
there
Z,
is.
Z series. So there is one more to worry
Yep.
about now. I mean, N is dead, right? I mean, Note
Oh,
is dead.
right, right away.
So now I guess it is merged with S and Z, right? I mean, S now has pen, Z has pen. But the only problem is
Yep.
like it is no longer affordable. Like you need
Hmm.
yes Ultra, I guess Ultra. S21 Ultra, right? You need that thing to
Okay,
basically use the pen, right? And the pen doesn't
I
have
see.
a pen holster, right? I mean, you need to buy a case to put the pen in. Otherwise, the phone doesn't have a
Right.
pen, right? I
Okay.
mean, like
Okay.
I use a Note, and I think the pen really, serves a lot to people who actually use the pen, right? I mean, I think you should have a
Yeah,
dedicated
you're
place.
correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Samsung is kind of a tech giant, and they kind of know their decisions, right? They already might have weighed like
Absolutely.
what will happen if we kill Note,
Right.
like how much will the stock decrease, how much should be the the decrease and
They
everything.
must have like pretty much good data analysts, data scientists, and those people.
And
So
most probably compensated with the
they,
pen in S series, right?
yeah, they must have simulated every scenario, and
Absolutely.
then they are like doing this thing. So yeah, that is correct.
So hopefully, like in the future, they might release like a Note, right? I mean, Note, a pen,
Yeah.
a phone with a pen inside, for the audience, right? Like for example,
Right.
I use Note 10 Lite, right, which is basically like 40,000 INR, right? No one has ever like done a phone with vacuum stylus at that particular price point, except Samsung. Yeah, right.
Okay.
I mean, and Samsung's own
Absolutely.
flagships are like 90,000, 1 lakh, like that is the rate of notes, right? When compared to
Yeah.
that is like half of.
That is hard.
So if they want, they can do it, and I do think they just dropped this phone because they thought there's necessity, right, for people who can't afford those kind of margin,
Right.
with a mid-end processor. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
mine is not a mid-end, you can say older high-end, right? I mean older high-end. So yeah, nowadays these are mid-end, but the old days it was like high-end, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so I guess what we started
Yeah.
with.
We started with Sennheiser.
Okay. Okay, we literally went like I don't know,
Yeah.
like a roller coaster, right? There is
Yeah. That is open talks for you.
that is open talks. Yeah, right.
Perfect.
So
Yeah. So
next topic.
like, yeah. Yes. Next topic. Right. So next topic is like regarding our good old friend Arsenix, right?
Absolutely.
So, like you all know about SteamOS. It was there from I guess many years, and it was there. It was powering many of the Steam devices and those things. Even some of the PCs who were like literally for gaming and Linux gaming and those things. So SteamOS is basically was based on Debian, but now they have shifted SteamOS from Debian to Arch Linux, and I mean, if you connect, I mean, they have launched a new device named as Stream Dex, and if you connect that thing to an external monitor, it is literally a full-fledged KDE Plasma
Oh,
with Arch Linux. So I mean, you can install anything. It's a personal computer at that point. So I mean, see, Steam was working on Proton from ages, I guess,
yeah,
like, to
absolutely. Yes.
make everything compatible, like games in Windows like the game developers are pretty mean. They just don't want games to be available on Linux or maybe on Mac OS. So Steam basically had to develop this Proton.
For the defense, they are basically making for the largest audience, right? Which is Windows users.
Oh man, yeah. They are running their
If they want it, they will do it, because the console users all get the same game, right? I mean, because of there is a larger audience, like in Windows, right?
Right.
So it is just that there is no push, right? I mean, I think what Steam is doing, right? I mean, with CS:GO and those kind of things, this is pretty good, because we can kind of for me, I have tried CS:GO in both Linux and Windows, right? And CS:GO seems to be faster in Linux.
Oh man, perfect.
I mean, little bit, not by a large margin.
Yeah. That explains, I mean, the game is optimized for Windows and Linux, both of them.
Absolutely.
But Windows overhead is like pretty much higher that it kind of drops your frames.
Absolutely.
So that is it. But see this thing. Steam actually understood the scenario from the start. They developed Proton, to literally port every Windows game to Linux.
Absolutely.
And then they understood Debian is not good for performance, right?
Absolutely.
So they kind of moved from Debian to Arch, and silently they didn't want to announce and those things. So I mean, that is I now I understand. I guess Valve did it, but it is the entity of Steam. So I mean, but Valve is pretty. Now I see that entity as an intellectual company, because I guess otherwise it was not possible for them to move to Arch Linux.
Yeah,
so that is pretty good.
I mean, using Arch, I don't know, right? I mean, it is just feels like a little bit of bold move, because Arch is so changing, right? I mean, just changes a lot to a point where they have to just keep on catching up, right? I mean,
absolutely.
They have to keep on catching up with the new libraries. I think what they will do is they might actually statically link some libraries in, right? Which changes rapidly, right? So that it just works flawlessly. And having an Arch base means that anything can work on the particular machine. So in theory, the user is not even hindered by the operating system. In Debian, right? I get a lot of problems, right? If I see some kind of a program which takes a lot of compiling steps to compile it, right? Then I have to basically take it to Debian and I have to do everything manually, right? But with AUR, people might have already, tried it and 100% done it, and they have made a script for it, right? So now I can just go ahead and do with AUR, and I guess this is the thing which we need, right? Like for normal users, just type A-S Teams and you get Teams, right? A-S Google-Chrome-Cable and there is Chrome. You don't want to literally go and add repositories, blah blah blah, things like that, right? If Arch Linux was a distro, I guess Arco Linux is basically like that, right? I mean, a fully fledged GUI installer and having AI by default.
Arco, Arco is there, Endeavour is there, Manjaro is there.
Absolutely. Lot of distros which actually focus on this thing. And whenever I ask, whenever someone asks me, which distro they have to try to study on, right? I just always say Arch based. I won't say Arch directly, Arch based distro, because you can go low level as well as high level, whichever level you want with Arch based distro. And I think Valve has made a great decision by promoting Arch, right? In their
That is amazing.
By the way, just to know, is it powered by Intel or ARM?
It is powered by AMD.
AMD. Oh, okay. It is x64, right?
Let me show the specs, right? It is there in the website.
Okay.
So the screen size is 7-inch, and the resolution is I guess 720p. It is not 720, but the aspect ratio is different.
Perfect. I mean, it is 720 pixels on height, right? But not on width.
No. So it is like 1280 by 800 pixels.
Okay, so it's 800p. Okay.
16 gem 10 aspect ratio.
Right. I mean, now the
And
height is a little bit higher than the.
yes, right. Then other thing is like it is 16 GB of RAM. So I mean that is pretty good.
Yeah, like that is enough for, I guess, most of this stuff. I mean, this is running Linux. We are not talking Windows, right?
Exactly.
Windows needs like 30 GB to run most of the games, but that will obviously be run at 15 GB for Linux. That is fine,
right. Also, it has 512 GB of NVMe SSD storage. So,
I hope
your
it is
games
not
on
older
Linux
ones, right?
will-
I mean, that those are the shittiest things manufactured, right?
Yeah.
I hope it is replaceable.
Very
Right?
I think it is not, because
Most probably it is
this
not.
blog itself, this blog itself mentions that it is not. I mean, it is not at all repairable. That's what they are mentioning at the end.
That is surface.
Other than that, like, yeah, it's really Surface
Oh, man.
coupled with Linux.
Perfect.
It has AMD Zen 2 plus
Oh,
RDNA
okay.
2.
So that is basically x86. I mean, x64, right? I mean, x64
Okay.
architecture. Right?
Okay, that is pretty good.
I mean,
That
this
pretty
is. I mean, I would have moved with ARM, but thinking about games are already bad in Linux. I guess.
good. Yeah.
You don't want to push it too much, right?
Absolutely. Right.
Just keep x86, right? There
Right.
you go. So I guess that
The
should
highest.
mean that it has a fully blown BIOS and everything, so you can load in whichever OS you want. In theory.
Absolutely.
So,
If it can run Linux, it can run anything. I mean,
perfect.
essentially. And the highest variant is of 512 GB, and it costs around $800. So it is pretty costly, I would say. But
I mean, for that
considering-
particular form factor, like you have to pay the price, right? They should
Yeah.
have done a lot of R&D to kind of reach to
Absolutely,
that particular
absolutely.
point.
even with like even making the things compatible with Proton and porting from Debian to Arch, it's a pretty good hassle, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, they deserve.
I was like hearing
deserve it.
you can say a recording from, I guess, 3 months ago, right? Of Linus Torvalds. He was talking about, Valve partnering with Debian, right? So I guess this is now the opposite. Like, they have partners with Arch. And I think we can safely say that Arch is now officially like, the most used distro with, enthusiasts. Like,
Right.
even normal users, who are like little bit of enthusiasts, right? I mean, not like a major enthusiast, are now moving to Arch, right?
Okay.
I think there cannot be any optimal distro than Arch.
Okay.
If you are not talking Gentoo, right? I mean, Gentoo is next level
Absolutely.
optimal.
Yeah. Gen 2 is like I mean, we all know that meme, right?
Absolutely.
If you are I mean, Gen 2 is like building your own cake from eggs, sugar,
Yes.
and, other stuff
Yes.
and those things.
I mean,
Literally.
Linux from scratch will be like finding your own planet, right? First.
Yeah, that is like even building your own those particles. I don't remember the names, but the small particles which are inside electrons.
Yeah, quarks, right?
So,
Quarks. Yes.
Quarks. Yeah, building those things and then building electron, proton, atoms, and then whole earths and those things. So,
Absolutely, and adding
Yeah,
electron and proton to make neutrons to put in the atom. Right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
There you
That I forgot. Yeah.
there you go. I guess you don't want to go that far because the thing is, Gen 2 is very fast, right? Gen 2 is literally, you can say, even the fastest distro, right? But
Absolutely,
at the
yeah.
cost of compiling the whole thing by yourself. I mean,
Right.
doesn't it offset, right? I mean, compiling everything from scratch requires a lot of time, right? And that
right.
time is the time, it is like pretty high time, right? Like you can say if it is X, right? And the time you waste by using Arch, right? Little bit inefficient
Right.
code, then obviously X is larger than Y, right? I mean,
Right.
and that basically means, I mean, don't talk about the electricity bills coming in with it. Like,
Oh man.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it is a lot.
Yeah.
And Arch's bleeding edge means
Absolutely.
that only 0-day attacks prevail, right?
Right.
Right? Like even the bugs which are like found in kernels sometimes, right? They are already accidentally fixed, like
Sure.
someone changed it, right?
Yeah.
A little bit, and now
Right.
doesn't work anymore. But Debian and those kind of things uses the old kernel, right? So, like,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like there will be a consensus, right? Like in future, you know the problem. Like Linus told a problem with desktop Linux, right? I think that is pretty well, right? That is,
Yeah.
like libraries. There are different versions of the libraries, and with
Yes.
Arch, it is very aggressive in updating the libraries, right? I mean, Gentoo is the most aggressive, in theory, Gentoo is not at all aggressive, right? You can choose whatever you want. I mean, it's your own computer. You choose whatever use cases you use, right? I mean, use flags and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But in case of Arch, it just updates so fast, right? So in theory, people can't just keep on hold, right? And in Debian,
Right.
it's like it's still like a rock, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so it is like the opposite forces, right? I mean,
Right. Right.
talking kung fu, there is like the blue and the red, right? So something like that. Debian and Arch, like, right? So
Yeah.
Debian is like still as a rock to a point where the creators of the games will be like, oh shit, like we have to use this old library which is ancient, which doesn't have this particular thing. Like think about building in a
Correct.
old like 7 series graphics card while RTX is around, right? I mean,
Right.
that is what
Right.
like using Debian means, right? And
Yep.
I think everyone should come into a consensus of a particular library which is not too old like Debian and not
Correct.
too new like Arch, and every distro should actually have a copy of that like particular
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
And it is a user's
Exactly.
choice to whether to opt in or opt out, right? I mean, if they want to conserve space, they can either have just the system libraries, which is bleeding edge, or the stable libraries, right? And in theory,
Right.
if this is there, then game developers can just compile for the particular libraries, right? I mean, then
Perfect.
like the problem with the programs is that if you compile one program with different library, right, and put it in a machine with a totally different library version, right, then it won't execute anymore because
Yeah.
you don't find the actual, it can go in different ways, right? One way is it won't even execute. That is, there is glibc error. There is, it can't even load it to the memory, right? There is no
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
load it. Other way is like it will not find some symbol in the library, right? I think you have gone through that error a lot of times, right? I mean, it will say like
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
SO file I don't see this symbol, right? So something like that. And the other error is like
Yeah,
it
then
doesn't
there
see
is
the
no-
SO file, like there is no SO file like this,
Right.
5.6. There is no SO file, right? So
Yeah.
these are all the errors which occurs. So the whole idea is that
Right away.
like game developers don't want to deal with these things. Like they just don't want to deal with this, right? They just want to have the game just
Absolutely.
work. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
in
That's what-
Windows, what happens is games are all statically linked, and you remember Windows keeps a lot of things. Like you have Visual C++, right? Visual C++ 15,
Oh, man.
14, 12, 11, like
Everything.
like
Everything is there.
one program says I need Visual C++ from 2000, like and you have to install that, right? Then one program says I
Yeah.
need .NET 2.0 and you install 2.5 and it'll be like no, you have to install 2.0, like not 2.5, right? And everything just exists
Oh,
parallelly, right? Like every version,
Right.
and the system
Even,
whole
like-
becomes bloated.
Absolutely. I remember my old days, right? Like when I used to clean install Windows,
Absolutely.
I had to go through a list of programs. Just this VC, what are they called?
VC redistributed. Yeah,
DIST.
redistributed.
Yeah, these things. Like I had to go
Visual
through.
C++ redistributed, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, right. That thing. So I had to go through, I guess, 10 plus of these, only these things, and then DirectX, like 2-3 version of DirectX. And
Yeah, that is also
That was
like
a
10,
hassle.
11, 12, like there's like
yeah, sure.
there is like a lot.
At the time, I guess At the time, 12 was not there, but 11 was there. So I mean,
Yeah, they like the
I
thing
had
is
to go
with Windows, it's like keep everything, right? Like
keep everything. Yeah,
literally
you
everything.
might need anything every time.
I am pretty sure
Yeah.
in the Windows disk, in the newest disk, there is Windows XP secretly inside, right? I mean,
Oh
you know,
man.
you remember like the bug like I had with my Surface tab when Telegram glitched. It just rolled back to even Windows taskbar, right? I mean, on
Oh,
top, right?
yeah, right.
And that was like,
yes.
I mean, Windows XP, like, I mean, not Windows taskbar, Windows XP taskbar, and that was like
Right.
seriously, like that means that Windows XP is in it, like at least a part
Yeah,
of it.
it is somewhere inside. Yeah.
And that is like, I mean, that is weird because and think about the new previews of Windows 11. I mean, like in there, like Windows 10 scroll bar, Windows 11 scroll bar, like combined with next button from Windows 7, like Windows 98 check mark, and there is like Windows 7 area effect with those glass things. Like it just feels like a mashed potato, right? I mean, as they put it.
I have a better term, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a pile of poop. Like,
Oh man.
slowly stacking up.
Yeah, it keeps us stacking
now.
up.
Now it is like Windows 11 at this point. Windows 12 will be like after maybe 10 years. Windows 13 after maybe another 10 years. That pile will like poop. I mean, not only Windows versions, right? Even the incremental updates, they also sometimes contribute to that pile of poop.
So, like, what my point was, like, if you kind of install a game, right? In Linux,
Yeah.
it is like you don't have the library, right? In
Yeah.
Windows, it is like it will ask you to install the library, right?
Right.
In Linux, you have another option to statically link, like in Windows also, right? But people don't
Yep.
statically link in Windows that much. I mean,
Yeah.
they do, but not this much, right? But if they statically link, then Linux binary will be very large, right? For every game.
Absolutely.
But Windows library
Yes.
will be like large, but it is not that large as statically linked Linux binary. But if you don't statically
Correct.
link anything, Linux binary is way smaller than the Windows binary, right?
Yeah. Then they are
Way smaller.
Yes.
So this is why we need to solve this library problem. We need to get a consensus between all the distributions
Right.
to arrive at a particular library and use that particular library always, and keep on
Correct.
updating the games and these kind of things to that particular library, right? I mean, that particular library should be the main library they should focus on developing apps for all the Linux distros, like if they want.
Yeah.
And I think this is my suggestion, right? I mean, towards Linux community, like if they want to develop something, and I don't think it should be too old either, because too old means too pain in the ass, because like in new libraries might have included already some fail safes and some new API calls and those kind of things that will basically simplify the programmers programming
Right.
thing. So I mean, I think
That is
like
Great.
Valve is doing a good thing, right, by choosing Arch and Next.
Yeah, that is pretty. It is doing pretty good. Like the thing is that Linux is getting pretty good traction
Absolutely.
nowadays. And like if you are moving to Linux, you might face some problems like this guy faced. So this guy faced some problem like this, right? I guess he had the issue of like he formatted the partition from an NTFS to ext4, and he had the problem of read only. So he couldn't actually write to it. So the obvious solution to it was just check like if the hard disk is failing or not. So like sudo was working, right? So I mean, he didn't know that there is something
So,
called as permissions in
Yeah,
Linux.
like what happened is like
Yeah.
if you go up, you can kind of see
Yeah.
that he kind of formatted with the terminal, right? Like, can you go up?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he kind of formatted with the terminal. So he used sudo to format it. So normally you
Right.
don't ask sudo to format it, because when you use ext4, like you format with ext4, it means that
Yeah.
if you use sudo, you are basically root, and at that particular point the disk is owned by
Right.
you, root, right? So even if you mount it, you
Okay.
don't have actually access to write it, because it is owned by root still,
Yeah.
right? The mount point is owned by
I see.
you, but not the disk. Like disk is still owned by root.
Not that.
So what I did was I basically told like there are two solutions. One is Debian solution. Debian is like ice cold, it just chills, right? So they haven't
Yeah.
moved to the newer way of run/media, right? the run is like, the run time. That is the thing, right? The runtime mounts and runtime stuff happening should all go to run. And
Yes.
Debian is still at media, so if he is using Debian, then change the permission of particular his user mounts to this. I just assume this because he might be a user who doesn't know that much command line, right? So I didn't want to specifically say, okay, find the particular mount point where it is mounted to, take that mount point, put it into ch on, then on it, right?
Right.
But the whole thing is that he could have asked UDIS to format it, right?
Yep.
UDIS, you already know how to format it. Just use a file manager to format it, right? That is UDCTL, right? Otherwise, you can use the command UDCTL format, this, right? So there you go. That will actually format on your behalf. You don't need to use any sudo, right? If the disk is not mounted by any user and it is not prevented by any security laws, it will kind of do it. Most probably USB drives are not done by this. So if you use USB drive, it's fine, right? Most probably. But internal hard drives, like in Ubuntu and all it allows, but in Arch and all, absolutely, it will ask root, it will ask root password. That is it, I think. It will ask root password, right? That is all right. It will just even if you don't use sudo, right? It will say authentication required and ask your password, right? Root password. That is it. Still your user account, I guess.
Yep.
So if you have any doubts, just ask them this, right?
I mean, if you're moving to Linux, don't be afraid, right? If you will face some problems because Linux is all about knowing great stuff. So while knowing and understanding something, you will face some problems. So just go to text forums, right? See this is the solution. This is the way you solve the problems. You can just take on all the probable cases and just provide the solution in one line. So that is pretty good solution of it.
There you go. And this is not just limited to Linux, but Tux is Penguin.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, the Penguin of Linux.
Right.
So it is focused on Linux, but it's absolutely anyone who faces issues in Windows also can ask.
Any kind of hardware problems, any kind of suggestions. If you are going to buy like a CPU or maybe a RAM or maybe a whole, you're assembling a whole computer. You don't know what matches what with what. Just ask, right? We are there to answer.
If you are asking Linux questions, just tag me in, right? At every time you I'll be like most probably asking answering that. There you
go. Right.
So
perfect.
Let's go to next topic. What do you think?
Let's go to the next topic. Okay, so next topic is So again, we predicted, just like we predicted Windows 11 will be Windows 10X. We predicted right to repairs is what should be happening, and it actually happened on the major scale. Right? So literally there is a law, we also talked about this in last podcast, but so the definition of rights to repair, what do you understand right now, and what is the scenario right now?
Right now the scenario is if you have a device, for example, you have a iPhone or even a Surface Tab which is dead, right? You have to basically walk in or courier your device to a service center, and it is at their discretion to fix it, and normally it takes months to fix it, right?
I would like to just share one of my experiences.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
You already know, but people don't know. So my left hinge of
laptop
Asus laptop just it just broke, right? So I mean I went to service center. They did the diagnosis for I guess 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Literally. So I had to literally sit there for 3 hours just doing nothing, and then I had to give them laptop. They told me it will take around 4 to 5 working days, so excluding Saturday and Sunday. So that is literally 1 week considering Saturday and Sunday. So that is, I gave them I guess on 28th of June, 24th of June if I remember correctly. So around that time.
Yes.
And I'm after I waited it literally for 5 business days
1 week.
So excluding Saturday
basically
Sunday.
for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely 1 week, and also one more day, just to give them one grace period, and then called them on, I guess, 1st of June or something. Yeah, 1st of July. Sorry, yeah. So then they're telling me that the parts are going to come on 12th of July.
Oh, no.
Right.
Okay.
So I mean, service center is absolutely 30 minutes away from here. So I have to like go and come. If I go and come, I'm just wasting my 1 hour. So that is it. Then I told them like I'm collecting my laptop. Whenever your parts come, just let me know, because they let me collect my laptop, because now it is their fault the parts didn't come in time.
Absolutely.
So my 1 week of without laptop is absolutely gone. I mean,
They could have just given
they
it.
could have just given it in the beginning, right? That
Yeah, like
parts might come late.
it
so
should have been,
just take
your work could have been done, right? I mean, in that time.
Yeah.
Even our podcast
Absolutely.
was a little bit,
Oh yeah.
pumped to lower
I
quality.
guess like absolutely it was lower quality. Yeah, I had to settle down with the dual core. So,
Pentium, it
yeah,
is.
that is it. Then what happened was, suddenly after I guess 3 days they are calling me that parts are here, just come within 1 hour. So it is the rule, like they create job sheet of 250 rupees. So if you've taken your laptop with yourself at your home, and parts are coming at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, if you don't reach within 11:30 a.m. to service center, your job sheet will be invalid. They will have to create a new job sheet, and that will charge you 250 rupees more. So I mean, that is another diplomacy from their side. So that's an issue. So like I reached within, I guess, 30 minutes there, and gave them the laptop. And then parts are there, laptop is, I'm giving you laptop in the morning, I'm telling them like I can wait for 1-2 hours, please fix it, I don't have to come again and do
Yes,
collecting
absolutely.
those things. They are saying they will take at least 2 days to repair.
Oh,
Then I come back home, next day they are calling, come here, so like you can see, I literally wasted my 3 hours of time, right?
driving process, right?
just in traveling. Yeah. So
Round trip time of 3 times, basically.
yeah. So if just consider, right? If rights to repair was there,
Absolutely.
what could have been the scenario? So first thing, why I had to go in the shop, I mean in the authorized service center, was because ASUS is not selling their parts
Absolutely.
to the third party. So if they were selling parts to the third party service centers, the first thing is they won't have much burden on the authorized service center.
Absolutely.
So everything could go very fast. Second thing is my time would have been wasted. And third thing is, it could have been slightly cheaper. Like their service cost was 600 rupees, and 600 rupees is
A lot.
I mean, consider. So if in third party service center, it could have been like 300 rupees.
By the
400
way,
rupees.
was it under warranty? It is not. Right?
Yeah,
It was not under warranty, right? Laptop.
yeah, it was not under warranty. Yeah, right. Even if what
I mean,
even
they are
even if it
repairing a
was-
laptop after warranty. That doesn't happen with so many products, right?
Yeah,
Like
I couldn't hear.
even repairing laptop, right? After warranty, right? Some of the manufacturers don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, ASUS is like kind enough to do
To
that.
at least, I mean, do that, right? So the
Yeah.
repair at current situation, right? It is like buy a device, fingers crossed it doesn't die on you, right? Hope that it doesn't never dies, right? You never have to walk into the service
Right.
center, because once you walk into the service center, your device keeps on becoming shitter and shitter, right?
Yeah.
While actually
Yep.
for me, LG did a very good job, right? Like
Oh,
they-
yeah, that is a pleasant experience.
that was like next level
Please share.
experience, you can say. First time it was really bad, because like they were like treating me like an alien came in to the store.
Avram, 1 minute. Like first, also tell like what was the problem. Right?
Okay. So the problem like with my laptop is like the Thunderbolt, right? The Thunderbolt,
Yeah.
normally it can charge the laptop, right? I mean, you can use a
Right.
Type C to Type C cable and power bank or even like a charging brick to charge it, and it will charge like your phone, right? Directly with Type C.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a normal DC jack to charge it, so there is normal charger also to charge it, right? So that is working fine, but the Thunderbolt cannot charge anymore, right? I mean, somehow some circuit in that got fried, to so it was detecting the charging circuit, like charger was connected and it was negotiating everything like PD and everything, but after the PD was negotiated, it was not pulling the charge. That is, some MOSFET or something was not opening up the the power to the the battery rail, right, to charge the battery.
Right.
And that was like the problem. And I just walked into the service center, I guess 6 months ago, and they were like treating me like alien, like LG makes a laptop, like what now, like they were like, what now, LG makes a laptop, right? I mean, and I was like, yeah, they do, and this is it. And everyone in the service center was like, oh man, there is a laptop for LG, like. And I was like, yeah, like, okay, so now this is broken, like, please fix it, like your service center was listed. And they were like, okay, let me call some people and I will like call you back. And they never called me back, right? That was a thing at first. Then second, I just called them. Most probably what happened is like between that time they got trained, right, with there is laptops, right?
Right.
They should have asked LG, like there is laptops, and they got trained. And after 6 months I just called them back, right? That is now, after 6 months is like now, right? I called them back, and them in the sense like the LG direct service, like the customer care, right? And told like I have this problem which is not yet fixed. The issue was closed last time, can you like do it? So they were like saying, okay, we will send a technician from Bangalore to your location just to take a look at your case, and also some other cases are also there. And I was like,
That is
okay,
amazing. Like
yeah,
that is pretty
that
good.
is pretty good. And what happened was he basically landed next day itself, right? So,
Wow.
and I just went in with the laptop, right? They just called me and told like, okay, the technician will be here at 12 p.m. and the time was like 11 a.m., right? So 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
And I just pretty much rushed in with the laptop, and I had to wait like 1 hour because technician only arrived at 1 p.m., right? At last.
Yeah.
That is basically the traffic, maybe like some other repair when a little bit took a little bit more time, right? That you should have,
Right.
maybe like. And at last what
I mean,
happened
that is-
was they took the laptop, looked at it. They took around I guess 35 to 40 minutes, right, to open the laptop, check the voltage rails and everything. And they told me, the thing, like the 12 volt is being negotiated and they can see the 12 volt.
Okay.
But the 12 volt is not being released to the battery because of one IC is preventing it, which shouldn't be preventing it. Right? It should go through the IC. It is not going through. And they exactly explain, this to me. And me, I know
That is
electronics.
amazing.
Right? So
Like
I kind of understood.
yeah,
Right?
generally, generally, like these service centers don't even like let you come inside.
Absolutely.
Come inside the area. That is pretty good. Like that person kind of explained the thing.
Yes.
I mean,
So
that is amazing.
that explanation was not done with the motherboard or anything in front of me, right? This particular thing. And I was like, okay, then what is the resolution? They were like, okay, there is no way to fix the IC. You can replace the motherboard. I was like, that is obvious because they just sell the whole unit, right, normally. And I was like, okay, like when it will arrive, right? And it was like 18th of July, right?
Oh man.
That is the time they told.
Okay.
And you kind of know 18th of July is in future, so I got it repaired early, right? Really. And after a few days, like I guess 4 days, they just called me, told like, okay, your part is here. Can you like reach in like next day at 3:30 or something? And I was like, okay. Then I called them back just to be confirming, right? So called them back, and they told me to come at 4, and I went in. And after that, they opened everything, and after placed the motherboard, new motherboard. And after that, they fired it up, and Windows was password locked, right? So instead of asking me the password, they told I can walk in, type in the password, and see, right?
Wow.
Things, right? And
That is great.
and they just told me this is the motherboard. This is we took from the laptop, right? And I was really amazed at the motherboard, because the motherboard looked literally clean, right? Clean, like really clean.
Oh,
There was no dust, right? I mean,
right.
normally the motherboard will be really dusty, right, at that particular point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a blue motherboard, right? It was really thin in the sense maybe like 4 or 5 paper thick, right? That is thickness of the motherboard.
Oh,
It was really
okay.
thin, right?
Okay, because it's like gram, right? So
Yes.
I mean, they have to reduce the weight. So the best part to reduce the weight is
Motherboard, yeah,
right?
exactly. And it
Thickness.
felt like really light also. I mean, the motherboard was literally light, yeah. And
Right.
it felt like you can say something like literally a toy, you can say, right? I mean, it didn't feel like a circuit, right? Like circuit has some copper weight to it. It didn't have much weight, right? You just expect some weight. And after I went from the service center back to home, then only I even remember, oh, that thing has even
Right.
CPU in there, right? Soldered onto it.
Yeah,
So anyway, what happened was I just logged in, and he checked everything, and it was fine. Everything was working fine. And after that, he screwed in the back plane and gave me the laptop and told me to check everything. He'll be there, right? For, I guess 30
that is
minutes.
great. That is great.
So I just checked everything, and
Amazing.
after that, I said, okay, perfect. Then he was like, he went out to service another customer, right? I mean, LG is like,
Right.
mainly they service washing machines and those kind of things. So they were like, going
Yeah.
from place to place, right? The technicians. And
Right,
they
right,
have
right.
even like, in the gram, if the screws are not under the feet, right? Like, normally, the laptops, the screws are under the feet, right? The rubber feet.
Mm-hmm.
In gram, it is not under the feet. That I was impressed. Like they were like
That is great.
small,
That is
like you can say small holes, right? Which is filled with a little bit of plastic, right? You can just peel off the plastic and take the screw and put the plastic back in, right? When you screw back in.
That is amazing.
Because the thing is, if you take off the feet won't stay in anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just comes off, right? And I think that is a brilliant idea from LG, right? I mean, the aesthetics point of view, it will be a little bit destroyed after the
Mm-hmm.
that thing is scratched, right? But you have to scratch it, right? I mean, to peel it off.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the laptop will actually stay steady in the table, right? After a long time. My old
Right.
laptop, the
That
pads
is-
are already gone. Like it's not even there, right? I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 404 at this point.
Yeah. For me, it's like the screw is still under that pad, but the glue is pretty good. That if I just take off and then put it
Like
back,
yours
it
is
just works.
for records, you only repaired one time, right?
I mean, I have opened it 4 or 5 times, so I mean that also counts.
okay,
But
okay.
still, I mean, yeah,
The screw was beneath the feet, right?
yeah, it was beneath
Yeah,
the
that
feet,
is-
but the
that is
glue is
serious.
pretty good. I mean, yeah, there is
I mean,
there is CCTV
most probably
here.
by removing it, you have compromised 50% of the glue's capacity, right? Like of
Absolutely,
sticking.
yeah, right,
And
right.
yeah, so the thing is, right to repair, right? If I had like an option to basically get the motherboard, I am pretty qualified
Mhm.
to swap the motherboard in the laptop, because LG Gram is pretty easy to repair. Like if you just go to jerry rig everything and check the teardown of LG Gram 2017, I guess 17 or 2018, I just spoke. You can see that everything is modular. You can take off the motherboards.
Wow.
Nothing is glued in. Even the keyboard is not glued in. You can just take off the keyboard, place a new keyboard.
That is amazing.
It is like I don't know how they even did it, because it is an ultra book, right?
Hmm.
Having repairability plus ultra lightweight, ultra portable means that, I mean, it is just a choice. the manufacturers make.
Yes.
It is not like the devices can't be made thin, by keeping the repairability. Even Apple proved it, right?
Yes.
If you open an iPhone,
Yeah.
it is pretty repairable inside. But the thing is, it is all paired up.
Paired
So
with
at least the first step
series
is done,
number
right?
and those things.
Like I think Louis Rossmann talked about it. EV Blog talked about it. I mean, when EV Blog talks about it is serious, right? Then
It is serious,
Linus talked about it. Linus Tech Tips. I mean, I think in short circuit or something. Right? No. Tech link.
I guess no. In the tech tips itself.
Tech Tips itself. Yeah, Tech Tips itself, the major video. Then the Tech Link, they talked about it when this happened, right? The right to repair
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
happened.
it. Yes.
And Marcus Brownlee covered it a very long time ago with the Linus Tech Tips, right? I mean, with the
Okay.
and I think so many media outlets already covered about right to repair, and I think it's about time, right? Even the Apple who founded Osmek, like C Osmek. What is it? The programmer programmer who worked with Steve Jobs, right, to build.
Steve was
Steve Wozniak. Even he basically quoted on it, right? I mean, the thing is,
Yes.
from him I got the perspective, the old perspective, right? In old days, we buy a computer which comes with the programming manual, comes with everything, right? You just even the circuit, like circuit description. What are the circuits are? What does it do, right? How to fix a problem, how to troubleshoot. What are the common problems you can see in the particular product, and everything like service manual, everything was provided. It's like the customer didn't feel like just a person who is lending the product from the manufacturer. They were
That was the
having the designs, right? They were having the whole thing, like they were buying it, like they owned it, right? I mean
exactly. Nowadays, people are just buying stuff. They are not owning.
like
stuff.
they're not buying, right?
time-
They're just lending from the manufacturer, right?
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true.
And they are like the manufacturer's mercy, right? I mean, if they open it, like even like in my home, there is a security camera, right? And in the security camera, like it is mentioned, tampering with the security camera, right, is against end user license agreement, and that actually means that it's legally they can, in theory, sue me if I do it, if I open it, right? I mean, how scary is that? You just bought the camera, you can't open it. It's your camera, right? I mean, it's your camera. If you open it, it's your security. You're compromising. Like if you use third-party, parts in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is not TP-Link security. Like their servers are not hosted in the. What is it? I mean, what is it? Most probably it is not, right? I mean,
Yeah. Most of it is not. But if this rights to repair was not done in time, they might have done. They might have kind of done these fishy things. We never know.
Absolutely. So yeah, like this camera, right? I mean, that kind of remarks you, like you are not owning the camera anymore, right? I just lended the camera from TP-Link, and likewise Surface. My Surface, I mean, this is if I open it, this is dead. There is no way to open it without destroying the LCD, right, in front. And you know how the LCD costs, like 13,000 to maybe like even 18,000 rupees for the LCD, right? With the digitizer. And if they sell the parts, right? Absolutely, after the warranty, there is no service center to go to. Like Microsoft, it is done. Like your contract with the Microsoft is done, like at that particular point.
Done.
And they don't even care what you do with the device, right? They don't give you the parts after warranty. They don't care. Like until warranty, they just scare you like like a your own son, right? Like someone like that, right? Literally even will come to your home and fix it if you want, right? But after that is done, it is done. Like your contract is like literally done, right? But the thing is, if I just spend 50,000 rupees on a product to just use it for like 2 years, which is a warranty period, then I mean, then what are we like? What, like what is the end goal, right? Having these devices all in landfill after 2 years, buying a new one, again landfill. Like, if I am doing it, it's fine.
Exactly.
If everyone is doing it, that is problem, right? One person is not an issue. Everyone is like buying a device, using 2 years, throwing it. That is not good, right? Like, think about it. This thing has a SSD, which is soldered on, right, and a battery.
Yep.
I mean, it is practically soldered on because you can't open it. Opening it kind of destroys the display, right? iFixit gave it a score of 0 out of 10, right? I mean, that is whopping
Perfect.
score.
Yeah, that was pretty much needed.
By the way, newer surfaces are more repairable, so they are doing it better, right?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
At least I have to show
Right,
that they're like,
right. They might have got, they might have got the feedback. I mean, why they are waiting for
Absolutely.
the feedbacks, right? It is like 101. We are making a product.
Yeah,
Maybe you would
absolutely,
repair it.
absolutely.
What
It
the
needs to
hell?
be repairable. The thing is, it is like
Yeah.
already, we are asking very little of them, right? At this particular point, right? I think right to
Right.
repair basically resets it back to the old age where we own the product,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
At least it resets
Right.
to a point where it is not like this, right? I mean, this particular point,
Correct.
like tampering with
Correct,
protocols. You can't tamper with the protocols. It is against the law. You can't
Yeah.
add a new card in your own product, your own machine, because adding a card goes
Yep.
against company policies. The company who
I see.
basically sold you,
See.
right? They are not like bank, right? Are they bank? Like the bank, they will say like in the back of the credit card, this is a property of this X and X bank, and if the bank requires it, you have to surrender the card, right? Okay. I mean, this bank,
Right.
card, right? I mean, if you're a illegitimate customer, right? Normally they just block it, right? They don't say to surrender or anything. They just
Yeah.
poof, like button, right? I mean, but the thing is, that is okay. But for normal products,
Yeah.
I mean, normal products, if you're having a phone has an issue, and manufacturer is saying, okay, oh, this is like a old product, like this is 1 year old, like, well, we moved into a new model, like, you just upgrade to that. Oh, by the way, like, you just need a touchscreen replacement. That will cost like just 20,000 rupees, right? The phone just costs 30, right? I mean,
Just
just
20,000. Yep.
20,000. And
Yep.
and we'll be like, okay, so what did the past part cost, like, in manufacturing? That may be like 1,000, right? I mean, to manufacture it, and maybe like added benefits, everything, like 5,000, right? Then if you push it, maybe like 8,000, right? And they'll be like saying the twice of that, so that you just are inclined to buy the newer product instead of fixing it. But the
Right.
thing is, this particular phone, right, we were talking about, had no issue with the logic board, which is the brains of the device, right?
Okay.
And it had no issue with the
Yeah.
speaker. It had no issue with the camera systems. It just had a broken screen,
Perfect.
or maybe like a broken digitizer, right? At that point,
Yeah.
like just the broken
Okay.
touch screen, right? There is no broken screen, right?
Yeah.
But the screen is glued to the display.
Okay.
I mean, that is good, right? That is good because it increases display quality, right? You already know it increases
Right.
display quality.
Right away.
But when you talk about not selling the part for a cheaper price, that is the original price, what it should be sold for, then instructing customers to basically buy a new phone instead. That is
Okay.
messed up.
I see.
In theory, that is like
That is absolutely messed up.
by the way, client obsolescence, right? That is the moment you
Yep,
buy a
yep.
device, it is already obsolete. The date of obsolescence is already sealed, right? When you buy a light bulb,
I
the
see.
light bulb
I see.
will actually die in 3 years, and they have specifically designed that,
okay.
light bulb to die in 3 years,
Yeah.
because we both are engineers. We know how the calculation goes. You can calculate for a maximum lifespan,
Right.
absolutely, right?
Okay.
That means the device will fail within that time period, and in old days, to boost the economy, it was needed. Nowadays, It is just done so that they can keep on grabbing money, right? And when does this stop? Like
Exactly.
the nature is kind of at this point. You know those little islands which are forming up due to plastic. Little islands
Oh man.
with plastic
What-
bottles, electronics. Like you have seen those landfills with lot of motherboards and all, like literally like filled in a landfill. CRT monitors, they have the LED.
Yeah.
Like CRT monitors have LCD, like mercury in it. Right? CRT monitors have mercury in it, while these PCBs have lead in it. There are a lot of things which are literally poisonous. It makes the land unusable. On top of that, it is plastic, which is
Right.
not degradable, and there is mica, right, which is not degradable, right? All those things,
Oh man.
and it is all polluting everything, right? Just like think about it. Just the
absolutely.
problem was repairing one, like changing just a screen, and only the
Exactly.
screen had to go to the landfill.
Exactly.
Now the logic board, camera system, everything is
Right.
the landfill. Just because screen is broken and manufacturer had a battery.
Right.
And I think right to repair will go like make everything back to normal. That is, make everything standardized.
Yeah. It
You
should
remember
happen.
like the cars, right? You can just take a car, right? For example, you have Maruti car, for example, right? Just say. You can just go to any dealer and buy a part. And when you go to the genuine dealer, they will say, okay, I have this parts in stock, but this 2,000 rupees, for example. Right? And you can just say, okay, I don't have that much money, so you just go to another dealer, which is third party, and buy a part from them. You can buy the part from them because that part is kind of easily copyable, right? In theory, and they can just copy
Right.
it, and also people do manufacture it. But software is not that easy to
Yeah.
copy. Like there are a lot of protections with the security, like the chip
Exactly.
level security and lot of things.
Right.
Even hardware, the chips are manufactured such a way that it is not able to be reverse engineered and stuff like that. Lot of things are going on, and to a point where they are taking this as an advantage, right? And nowadays in cars, ESU, right? Electronic electronic control, ECU, right? Electronic control unit, yeah. ECU in car, right?
Okay.
ECU in car is like the brains of it, right? Nowadays, you and I agree that gas pedal doesn't mean anything, right? It is just a potentiometer inside the car. It is not connected to a Browden directly. Like normally, what happens is directly a Browden goes directly to a carburetor, right? Where actually the choke and the the throttle is, right? Basically, and it just pulls the throttle, right? Kind of pulls the throttle,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it is
It's all
mechanical.
mechanical.
Now it is just you just
Yeah.
push the throttle. What happens is the system knows, okay, the user is saying we want 50% throttle, and what it does is
I
it
see.
activates the motor, right, which kind of pulls the throttle, right. That is what happens.
Right.
Nowadays it is even not even a motor, it is just the fuel air mixture is directly controlled, right. The carburetor itself is electronic, like itself is electronic, right.
Oh man.
So the thing is, if just one sensor goes bad, the thing doesn't work, right? 100%. The thing is, you can just assume, right?
Absolutely.
A 50% mixture and make it work, right?
Yeah.
Without even the sensor, right? I mean, you can
Right.
say, okay, this particular mixture will be working overall on the board, right? I mean, it won't be efficient, but in theory, you could use the car, right?
Exactly. Without any fears.
Now you can repair it when the part comes and things like that, right? This was the old days, right? You could
Right.
even say like, okay, this sensor is saying the engine is failing. Turn off the sensor for winter, like
Yeah.
until we get the replacement, right? Nowadays, if you turn off the sensor, it is dead. The car is
Right.
dead. And if you
Yeah.
kind of go to some
Absolutely.
non-authorized repair shop, they don't have the key to repair, because to get the diagnostic, they need the
Yeah.
key, right? You are not talking the key of the car, right? We are talking keys to the debugging interface. Like it is all encrypted,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
The interface is encrypted. These all are the ones which
Yeah.
are adding up, right? These are all adding up to make things irreparable, even though it is repairable, designed to be repairable, right?
Exactly.
And I guess
Yeah.
I mean, like, even manufacturers, they just make a chip. They just tell like, okay,
I see.
I would just, okay, like, think I am a manufacturer, right? And you are like Texas Instruments, for example, right? They'll be like, okay, you have that OP305, like, op-amp, and you're like, oh, yeah, I have it. Yeah, like we need a little bit of,
Yeah.
ripple resistance, right? And we will be buying it in bulk, so, just make a new model number for it, right? And by the way,
Yeah.
just erase the model
Yeah.
number and don't sell it to anyone, except, right? So this is what happens, right? This is
Right.
how things work.
Right.
And not getting a
Correct.
part, right, is the problem. In old days, you can just
Yeah.
replace with the equivalent part. Now there is no way. There is no equivalent parts because the parts are itself sophisticated. It is made for the particular thing
Yes.
because there is no need to, right?
Right.
There is absolutely no need to
There is no
use
need.
a specific part, right? I mean, a non-off-the-shelf part than using an off-the-shelf part. Off-the-shelf part does everything
Right.
what it needs, but does one thing, doesn't do one thing what it needs. That is, sophisticate the product to make it irreparable, right? You get the whole idea, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
I
so
see.
that the user will basically like come to the manufacturer, beg to repair it,
Yeah.
and they can charge whatever they want because they are
I
proud that they are the only ones who have a part, right? I hope that is like making right to repair clear, like, in a deeper
Yeah,
sense. I didn't go
absolutely.
this far, I
Right.
guess, last episode.
Yeah. Last time we didn't go this far, right? But this time it was needed, like because people need to
Absolutely,
know
absolutely.
this thing.
And actually it is getting traction. That is
Right.
pretty good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Right. Okay. So that brings us to our last topic, that is Android 12.
So,
I mean, the best feature which I liked about Android 12 is scrolling screenshots. Like, OnePlus users were having that thing from ages,
Yes.
even custom ROM users.
and even Samsung users.
But
My phone has it. Yeah.
yeah, Samsung is like, Samsung is always ahead of time. So they had it from ages.
I think Chinese
But
people actually
they
first
obviously
came up
never
with
had
this.
it. Like,
Like I might be wrong.
right.
I might be wrong.
Avram, your voice.
Is it?
Like, can you
Okay.
speak something?
Okay. Is it there? Audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
I
it
just
is, now it is,
disconnected.
yeah.
The
So
power
what
bank
do you
from
say?
my- yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah. So scrolling screenshots, like, which was really
Absolutely.
necessary feature that is added. One innovative feature they added is like the auto rotate in Android takes a little bit of time to kind of actually rotate the screen, right? So what they've done is actually they will see your face, like while they measure the sensors going the other way. They will also capture your face and they will see the orientation of your face. And if it is like looking a little bit like this, then actually they will rotate the screen. So I mean, that is a little bit faster, they are saying that. And also reviewers are also saying that it is reliable plus
Okay.
fast. So that's
But
that's a good feature.
but I
would
have a
say.
problem, right? That means they'll be
Yeah.
running the onboard decoder plus the camera circuit. That takes too much juice.
I also have that problem. I also have the same problem. I won't be enabling the feature.
I
anytime in
mean,
the
for
future
my
if I have
phone,
Android
there is
12.
stay away. Like it will check the camera if I
Yeah.
am like literally looking at the phone. I have disabled it. Like
Mhm.
it takes too much power.
Yes.
Like just having video call takes too much power. Then how is like
Yeah.
having the camera on like now and then.
Absolutely. So I mean that's an issue, but
Maybe
I mean,
add two accelerometers
other
also.
than that, like,
Maybe like add something
yes,
other else.
yes, that's also correct. Also, the material
But
you
I
giving
think
yourself,
what
I
is
mean,
better
everything
is
looks
asking
pretty
the
good
user,
now.
right? Whether you want to rotate or not.
Yeah, this is do you really want? I mean, the thing is that users will say yes because they don't understand that it requires a lot of power for
Absolutely.
GPU and camera to
I mean,
operate.
not like that. Like,
So,
orient your device, landscape, then a button comes. Rotate the device, right?
I see.
So what happens is if you're laying on
I see.
the, bed watching a video, it will try to
Yeah.
put it portrait and put a button, right? You don't click it,
Yeah.
then after some time it just disappears and just assumes, you are watching it landscape. But gravity is telling you,
Right.
it's portrait, right?
Right.
I think some custom ROMs
Yeah.
have it, like
Yeah.
the feature. Right?
Even the normal Androids also have that thing. The thing is that it is not the auto rotate itself is not that
Yeah,
fast,
it's
right?
just not-
I mean, they have implemented this thing to make it fast. That's what they are saying.
But I think should it
I mean,
be
let's see,
fast?
like how well that holds up.
Should it be?
It's
I
it's
think it
already
is fast
fast.
enough, right? I mean,
I
you have to wait for a second to
yes.
basically, ensure that it is rotated. The other way is
Yeah,
to
I
basically,
think that is fine.
keep the screen rotating, like like a jello, right? You
Yeah.
just rotate a little bit, the screen basically, tilts to make it portrait. Like, you know, you know the screen
Yeah,
stabilization
yeah.
thing that came in with custom ROMs.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty good. I mean, that is pretty good when you are walking.
Absolutely.
And it is pretty good when you are
Something like that
riding
for
on
rotation,
scooter.
right? It sees an angle, it rotates to stabilize.
Right,
So it is like seamless, right?
right away.
You just rotate it, and the picture keeps on rotating, with you.
Yeah,
But that is not practical.
That is
That's what I
right.
think. That is not
It
practical.
is not practical. Yeah,
But it is possible. I mean, theoretically, there is nothing preventing it. No one is
it is possible.
like nothing is preventing it, right? I mean, you can basically render a bigger screen
Mhm.
and keep on rotating it.
Yeah, yeah,
In theory, it is totally possible. Yeah.
right away. Yeah. By the way, like one more thing, like if you like open your notification sheet and then quick settings, and if you click on your Wi-Fi toggle on your
Okay.
Android 10, sorry, Android 12, what will happen? Like, can you assume?
Turns off.
No,
Does it take me to the
it doesn't turn off.
nearby Wi-Fi?
No, it kind of pops up that that thing, right, which pops from below the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's
available
what I
Wi-Fi.
think. Like, does it show the nearby Wi-Fi? Right?
Yeah, nearby. Yes, correct. So I mean, the basic functionality was to turn that thing off. That doesn't even turn off now. You have
Yeah,
to
like
literally go into settings
the
and then
idea was perfect. I mean, with normal Android nowadays, right? That is clicking the symbol turns off, clicking the the word, right? I mean Wi-Fi takes you to the
yeah,
the
exactly.
thing, right? And it's
Right.
perfect.
Right.
There was nothing
But
to
it's
change.
not. Yeah. Now it's like in this beta 3 they have implemented something. They when you click that toggle, it will bring up that UI that from bottom, and there will be a ton of Wi-Fi at the left
I mean,
bottom corner.
the thing
So
is,
then that is there.
I'm pretty sure what they're doing is preventing user from turning off anything, right? Keeping
Exactly.
everything on, right? I mean, that is the whole goal of
Keep that thing
Google.
on.
Like, if
Yeah.
you turn off your Wi-Fi, normally it is you know that it is not off, right? Like even if you turn off the Wi-Fi, it's just a session. It is not off. It is
It's
always scanning
always
for
scanning.
nearby Wi-Fi so that it can just locate you, right? I mean,
Yes.
how creepy is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Bluetooth,
That
right?
is absolutely
If you
creepy.
turn it off, it is not really off.
Yeah.
The Bluetooth is most vulnerable protocol.
It's
Right?
not off.
You kind of know like lot of attacks which can actually gain access
Yeah.
to the root level has been
Yes.
found in
Right.
Bluetooth. I don't think that level of attacks were ever done in Wi-Fi. You can just read the data. That is it, right? I mean, maybe like do a man in the middle.
Right.
But Bluetooth even got like root level privileges. That is like privilege escalation attacks, right?
Correct.
Those are like
Correct.
really crazy attacks. Like, those are critical, right? I mean, the red level attacks, right?
Yeah.
Those are, and I mean, keeping that off is the best thing, right? If you click on Bluetooth and it's off, then you expect it to be off. But Google doesn't want it to be off.
Exactly.
Does Bluetooth also does that? Like or just the Wi-Fi?
I guess Bluetooth doesn't do that
Yeah.
as of now.
No, as
As
of-
of now, right? It is just still beta 3, so we never know.
I mean, mobile data also shows. Okay, which SIM do you want to turn off?
It's like Wi-Fi and mobile data. Both of them are combined in one toggle.
What?
That is internet.
In the name of
So
science.
yeah. So that UI is having like toggle for mobile data, but doesn't have toggle for Wi-Fi.
That is messed up. I mean, for you,
Yeah, I
90%
think that
of
is messed up.
you use Wi-Fi, right? Mobile data. And
Yeah.
for me, I turn off Wi-Fi and I turn off mobile data all the time. Like, for example, my Wi-Fi is not really available. If something happened, right? I want to troubleshoot. I want to go into the router. Right? My phone will be seeing like, okay, something is wrong with
Right.
Wi-Fi. Grab mobile data, right? That is a normal reaction.
Okay.
Then I will just say, okay, I don't want mobile data. To make it clear, I will turn off mobile data. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I want to troubleshoot the Wi-Fi, so I have to
Right.
connect to. So now there is a toggle for mobile data, right? No, there is no problem. What if you want to literally see if the site is down, and if it is down, really is it just the ISP of your Wi-Fi, denying
Yeah.
access? Normally that happens to me, right? For example, banking websites are all not really working for me in my ISP. So I just turn off Wi-Fi and use
Right.
mobile data, right? I mean, perfect.
Perfect.
But now, if I have to turn off
Perfect.
Wi-Fi, I will go to settings, click on more, not more, I guess, Wi-Fi, then turn
Oh
off.
man.
And turn it
Yeah.
back on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe use
Right,
GeoFi,
right,
right?
right.
So that make that kind of like the
Yeah.
maybe invest in a router which has a SIM slot and you have a switch to change. So because your phone doesn't have a switch to change it perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, it's not phone, right? It is called a smartphone.
Yeah, it is a smartphone. Yeah, I mean it is too smartphone. It is
Yeah,
too
it's
smart.
too smart.
It is doing
No.
too many things which we never asked to do.
We never
like
did.
AB support, which is basically going to kill every modding app.
Yeah.
I mean,
the hardware is getting better. Software is
getting worse
That's
and
what
worse.
is happening.
People are not really realizing it.
People are not realizing.
And I
that's
think
the
right to
issue.
repair might actually shine light to it, right? Because people will actually
Yeah.
start to
I think
realize
it will.
when they kind of change
Yeah.
parts and does the old phones can do that? Oh, okay, cool. The days where people had those phones which are waterproof and had back replaceable
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
replaceable. Even batteries, right?
Right.
I think Samsung Galaxy
Yes,
S5
yes,
because
yes. Those were the days.
and now they are removing headphone jacks saying water resistance and things like that. Right?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the thing was literally having a replaceable back and was water. I mean,
Exactly.
not proof, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it is just manufacturers seeing something to make customers think
Absolutely.
that is the only way, right? That is absolutely a way.
Right.
This is your model. That person who was in China just put a headphone jack in the phones which started removing headphone jack. Right? He just basically drilled a hole and just made a PCB. Literal PCB, right? Flat
Yep.
flex PCB.
Yep.
And put it on.
Right.
If he can do that with an external PCB, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that is too much to, right? I mean, it's just manufacturers being
I mean,
asses to us.
we both can see. I mean, we both can see it's to promote their own
Absolutely,
wireless
absolutely.
earphones.
Like
There is
OnePlus
no
was
other
like,
point.
okay, yeah. See, Apple, you did wrong. You
Yeah. Yeah.
took away something which is absolutely the cornerstone of a phone. And after 1 year, not even 1 year, I guess, few months, they were like, oh, like
Few months. Yeah. Few months.
you
Right.
can sell more airports, right?
So
Airports, yeah. You can sell more airports. Okay. Oh, that costs like 2 times. Oh, I mean, like 5 times that as a normal earbuds. Let's make one and
yeah.
basically disable on next month.
Oh man.
Cool idea, right?
Yeah. I mean, see, this is what is happening, right? Whenever Apple does something wrong, the marketing team of these companies, I
There's
mean,
more.
OnePlus in those kind of markets, like we are doing this and Apple is not doing that. Then the analytical team or maybe data science team goes in and checks what is the revenue Apple is creating by doing this move, and then they tell the upper management, by doing this we can generate this many much
Absolutely.
revenue, and then upper management tells, take down that Twitter post, take down that Reddit post, and remove
Yeah,
that
that is a
headphone
funny
jack.
thing, right? They just destroy the post.
Yeah,
They are a company. They are
yeah,
just not just a person, right? I mean, person deleting posts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
absolutely.
fine. Company deleting posts.
Yep.
I mean, don't they have like any credibility whatsoever? Like to hold on to what they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, these marketing teams, I don't think so. Like they do have, because they market anything to anywhere. So yeah,
Right. I think yeah, I think someone should come in and make a perfect smartphone. Show
yeah,
them.
right.
I really like cat phones. The Caterpillar brand, right? But the problem is they are too out of date.
Yep.
Their OS is out of date. Their specs are out of date.
Okay.
But they just do so much things, right? With their they even have literal like FLIR infrared camera. Like
Oh, okay.
what can you ask more, right? I
Oh,
mean,
right.
you just got a bloody infrared camera on your phone with with the normal camera. Like,
Right away.
they never kicked out a normal camera. Right?
Yeah.
There is a normal camera and infrared camera, and it is not that bulky, right? When you compare to Samsung Active and those kind of things, right? Like nearly comes
Oh,
same
right,
as
yeah.
that thing. Even level sensor, and they have
Right.
those line of sight measuring devices. You just put the thing, it says how much distance until it hits a wall or something, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, if they can just do that with that kind of thickness, why can't they just put a
Exactly.
headphone jack and maybe even put a battery which is removable, right? I'm not asking
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
to the old means, just make everything removable. I mean, even glass bags, right? There is a way. I mean,
Yeah.
it need not
Yeah.
be glue, right? I mean, there can be glass with a plastic rim which has clips, which just slaps on.
Correct.
What you have to do is just unclip the glass from this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it, it is absolutely easy to design that. Even the screen, right? You can just
Right.
design it in such a way that
Yeah.
it doesn't go across the whole edge, or if it does, there is a like a rim where which we can grab and kind of pull, because
Yeah.
otherwise we will be slicing into the screen
Right.
when we kind of open it,
I
and
see.
that is what they want, because it is easier to shut it, close.
Hmm.
After closing it, you
Correct.
can't open it,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't plan to. They don't plan to in intention. even Apple, they just swap your phone. They don't repair. And
They don't
Louis
repair,
Rossmann
yeah.
was very clear. We don't want to be authorized, because authorized is a downgrade. Authorized should be an upgrade. No, it is not an upgrade anymore. You don't get authorized
Yeah,
parts.
it's now
You just
not
get
upgrade.
authorized repaired phones. That is it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, and Louis Rossmann was also correct, because in order to replace the charging IC which costs $1, they are replacing the whole motherboard. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. This happens. This happens a lot. Right.
Even USB
Absolutely a
connectors,
lot.
right? This is replace the whole board. Even for
Yeah.
replacing daughter boards, which just have the headphone jack, they just say, "Oh, the daughter board and the motherboard
Yeah.
comes in pair. You have to buy the whole thing."
Right.
I mean, yeah, right to repair is over. We are literally talking, not talking about that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that wraps up this 10th
Okay,
episode,
so how
right?
much time was it?
It was 1 hour and 40 minutes.
We went overboard with this one.
Yeah, I mean, quality is also increasing. The depth is also increasing. That's what I guess we should aim for. That is
3 in
correct.
the morning, right? So 3:30.
Oh yeah,
3:33 in
3:33.
the morning.
Exact time 3:33.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah. So I guess like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if you have any doubts, do share in the
Slash text
comments,
forums.
or maybe in the Tux forums also. Like Tux forums, like if you are having Linux related doubts, or maybe any hardware tech related doubts, just let us know in tuxforums.com, and we will come every Sunday 9 p.m. right?
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Yeah, thank you.